Welcome. So today we're going to be looking at some barriers to loving kindness. A couple of weeks ago, we talked about stuff, and then as stuff settles down, we come into access concentration. So you could say one of the, or five of the barriers of metta are what are sometimes called the hindrances. So uh, desire, ill will, doubt, um, restlessness and anxiety, and sloth and torpor. Um, I think I mentioned a couple of weeks ago the, if you like, one of the main antidotes to those hindrances is just to practice, is to do the Mettā Bhavana, the mindfulness of breathing, maybe some puja, um, maybe some Dharma study, and that tends to kind of ease the hindrances up. More specifically, I just want to have a quick look at a couple of the traditional, what are called far and near enemies of metta. So we should have a slide coming up. So the opposite to metta is anger and hatred. So this can come in various degrees and flavors. So it may just be a mild annoyance. It may be absolutely raging, destructive hatred. The antidote to anything on that spectrum is metta. So it's about doing the practice. One of the traditional antidotes to the hindrances is cultivating the opposite. So hereby cultivating metta, we overcome our anger and hatred or ill will. The second one is pema. So Stiranaga talked about pema 2 or 3 weeks ago in one of his shorter talks. Here I've translated it as affection. Had a look at a few Pali dictionaries, as you do, and it seems to be affection. So there's nothing wrong in and of itself with affection, but it's not metta. Metta has this unconditional aspect to it, where affection, also kind of a romantic love, a familiar love, tends to have something attached to it. It's often not unconditional. So the antidote traditionally to the near enemy is karuna. So you may be familiar, particularly if you come across the Brahma Viharas, that the near enemy, the antidote, is the next Brahma Vihara. So with karuna, so if you're not sure whether you have pema, if you reflect that this person suffers, it will change the flavor. If it was pema, if it stays pretty much the same, then you were probably doing metta. Okay, so thank you. So there's a couple of traditional lists. I'm going to talk about something slightly different. You can address this in terms of psychological or spiritual. So sometimes we have baggage left over from aspects of our lives. In a Buddhist way, we could talk about, we have some karmic imprints from our past actions and our past responses, and also kind of karmic imprints of responses to things that happen to us as well. So I actually think this may be one of our main barriers of metta. It certainly has been for me. There's an element of I haven't let go of things that have happened in the past. And that stops me really engaging with the people in my life, whether they be a friend, a neutral person, a difficult person. It stops me engaging fully in a metaphor way with them. So this can happen on a number of different levels. So we're going to explore this with a meditation from Sharon Salzberg's Love and Kindness book. So I'll have the next slide up, please. So it has 3 aspects to it. So we're going to, before we actually do the meditation, we're going to do a short period of Mettā Bhavana, and then we'll do the 3 stages of the forgiveness meditation. So the first stage is we ask for forgiveness. We'll do a little phrase, something like, whatever hurt or harm you have done, knowingly or unknowingly, I forgive you. And we say that. We may just want to wait for a response, and we can say it again, and see what happens. It may be just repeat the phrase every now and again and not a lot happens, which is absolutely fine. Certainly when I've done this meditation, memories come up of things that I've kind of haven't put down. An interaction with someone, a kind of an argument, a disagreement, who knows? It comes up, and it could come up from something quite recent, or it could come up from, I've done this, and it's something like memory from childhood comes up. Just like, there's something there. All those years ago, I haven't actually let go of what happened. So at that point, you just say, I forgive you. Or if a person's name comes to mind, I don't know, Frank, Susie, don't know, just say, Frank, I forgive you. Susie, I forgive you, or whatever. If you don't have anyone in the past who's upset you called Frank or Susie, then by all means use their own name, and see what happens. Yeah, I'm not going to say too much more. There'll be an opportunity to talk about this in groups later. Once we've asked for forgiveness, I just realised I've done this the wrong way around. That's the second stage. You ask for forgiveness for others. First of all, you ask forgiveness for yourself in the same way. So I think actually I said the second phrase first. Sorry about that. In the first stage, start that again. We say, whatever hurt or harm I have done, knowingly or unknowingly, please forgive me. So it works in exactly the same way, and memories can come up of behaviors that we are unhappy with, and we say, please forgive me, or Frank, Susie, whoever, please forgive me. Let me say the second stage, because I've already told you about that. And then in the third stage is looking at forgiving oneself, how we may have hurt ourselves, harmed ourselves, again, knowingly or unknowingly. Maybe in hindsight, we see we have a particular destructive pattern of behavior or an unhelpful pattern of behavior, and we can just allow ourselves to forgive ourselves, be kind to ourselves. So that's the practice. Okay, don't need the slide anymore. The actual phrases that we use for each one will come up during that stage of the meditation, so I'll say it a couple of times. But just be open to what happens and what memories come up, or open, maybe memories don't come up. But certainly for me, I found it a very kind of cathartic, purifying practice, letting go of all sorts of things. In terms of a meditation, is not something I would do very often. I was talking about this earlier to someone. I said I probably do it, I don't know, every couple of years. The first couple of times you've done it, you do it. You may want to do it in quick succession, you know, maybe later in the week, or replay the recording. Until you get a sense of you've let go of whatever's there. There may not be enough time in this led practice, everything to unfold. So you may want to do it again. But it's one of those things that it's worth doing every now and again. It's almost like having a bit of a spring clean of things that we haven't let go of, either actions that we're actually know are unskillful in terms of our own actions, in a way we need to apologize for, sometimes just apologizing or asking for forgiveness within the meditation is enough. There may be something that comes up which you kind of think you want to follow up outside of the meditation. In terms of things that may have happened to us that we're being hurt, though we're saying, I forgive you, it doesn't take away that for some people they may have actually been very unskillful, they may have broken the law, I don't know. So it's not taking away the weight of their action. Anyone who's acted unskillfully, ourselves or others, will have a karmic residue to those actions that individually we have to deal with. But I think it's quite interesting that for me, I can hold on to a lot of these hurts and wrongdoings. And actually, I just need to let them go. By doing that, as I said earlier, we can engage much more open-heartedly in our practice of loving kindness.